What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, Sleepy Week. Today I'm just going to give my first initial impressions of the PTCG Live Beta. I was able to get into the beta and do some testing. I haven't done much. I've put in about 2 hours thus far. But yeah, I was able to get some initial thoughts on the client overall. We're going to go over the good and the bad and my overall rating of the client thus far. So yeah, let's get straight into it, starting with the good. The good thing about the client is honestly, I think it's going to be great for new players coming into the game. The game gives you a lot of base, kind of like league battle decks of a lot of archetypes. You got Rapid Strike Malamar, you got Rapid Strike Urshifu, and even stuff like Shadow Rider, and you got the base of that stuff. And you don't get the complete meta deck, but you get a core where you can build from and play and kind of get on the ladder, and you can win a decent amount of games with it. It's a functional deck that's semi-competitive that you can use to build from there. So not bad. So I think that's very good or great for new players to get into the game. So yeah. Overall, number 2. Overall, the UI is functional. It does what it needs to do. You can play the game, and it doesn't feel too bad. I'll talk about more about the UI in the bad because I do have some bad things about it. But overall, it works. Nothing's really broken. Yes, there are bugs out there, but that's kind of expected in a beta. So that's why I kind of take that with a grain of salt. I always expect bugs in betas. So that's just expected in beta. Overall, the graphics are decent as a number 3 point. I think the ads didn't give the graphics their best display, right? And I think overall, like, the graphics aren't, like, they could be a lot better, but I think that they look a lot better once you're in the game than they did in the ads. So I think overall, I would give the graphics on a decent level. Yes, they can be improved. I agree. But I think overall they're decent. They're okay. And there's some issues that I still do have with them. But I think overall they're fine. Like again, it could be much. They could be much improved, but I think they're kind of okay. And also, I think the ratios from dusting to crafting are pretty good. If I did my math correctly, I think they're a 1-to-3 dusting to crafting ratio. Whereas when something gets dusted, or you get credits for a card, you get a third of what you would on the cost of a card. So basically, let's say, I'm just using random numbers here. Let's say a card cost 30 credits to craft, which is not correct. They cost a lot more, right? But I'm just using random numbers. Let's say a card costs 30 credits to craft. When that card gets dusted, you get 10 credits instead. So basically, in order to craft the card you want, you need to dust 3 cards of the same value to get 1 card. So yeah, I think those ratios are good. I believe Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has the same ratio, and that, personally, from my experience, seems to be like a good ratio to go for. Now, let's go on to some of the bad points of the client thus far. There's a lot of quality of life things that need to be added. I feel there's times a lot of the client still doesn't feel very intuitive. Like, there's a lot of stuff where I feel like, 1, it was hard to find things. 2, like, a lot of actions were awkward. So I think that needs to be kind of updated and just made less awkward. I'll go more into detail about this as I dig more into the client. I plan on making a lot more videos showing how things can possibly get improved, and cataloging and dialogue and category, and wow, I can't talk today. Just cataloging everything that I kind of find and also submitting into the blog, which I'll leave in the description down below if you guys are beta testing as well. Leave what can be improved in that blog, that's where a lot of developers are going to go through and look at things and improve those. Point number 2 is, even though the UI graphics are decent, they felt very choppy and inconsistent at times. One perfect example of this was when cards are kind of like flying around on the board and stuff like that. You can tell that they're using a lower resolution image of that card versus when you zoom into the card, that image is crisp. So to me, I don't understand why that inconsistency. Just use the same resolution image to do that. I just don't see how that, I just don't see why that's happening. Like, that should just be set in stone, use the same resolution across the board. So I don't know why that's there. It could be a reason why that's there. I don't know. And also another thing, even though the ratios to craft cards seems good, it seems like earning crystals might be hard. I haven't really found a way to earn crystals in a decent way, and if there's not going to be any microtransactions, then it's going to be very hard to get those crystals. And crystals seem like, in design wise, they seem to be like they're going to be the premium currency. And if we're not going to have microtransactions, I think you need to have a way to kind of need players to grind those out at least a decent rate. If we can't just buy them outright. And that's another thing. I think we need to add microtransactions into the game. And it seems like, again, that crystal is going to be that premium currency. And in a lot of games, you will use that premium currency, and you can do a lot of things with that premium currency. You can convert them into like other currencies in the game, such as, for example, in here, you can buy crystals and convert them into possibly credits or even coins to buy aesthetic items or more crafting credits to craft more cards that you want. And in a lot of those games, they tend to have a way to grind the premium credits, not at a fast pace, but at a decent enough pace that sometimes is fairly decent, you know. And that's my issue currently with the crystals. I think we need to either add microtransactions or make it a way for us to kind of grind them out at a decent pace, because new players aren't going to be able to do that if we don't have microtransactions. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts on the client thus far. I'm going to go ahead and dig into more detail into other videos showing you guys stuff that I found, and hopefully this gets out to Pokemon and they kind of fix these issues. Currently I rate the client out of, if I have to give it a rating from 1 to 10, I give it a 6 out of 10. Just it's functional, but there's just a lot of quality of life things that need to happen right now in order to make it like very good. So yeah, I just think, like, I don't know, the way they approached the development seemed like they were trying to reinvent the wheel when there's a lot of successful clients already out there. Magic the Gathering is a great client they probably could have used to kind of learn from and continue there. So yeah, hopefully they fix all this stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Again, I just kind of talked off the cusp in my first impression video and my thoughts. So yeah, hope you guys, if you like the video, feel free to like down below. Also subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more PTCG content. Hope you guys have a good day, and peace.